live, laugh.
Introducing first from Augusta, Georgia, weighing 206 pounds, Sean Legacy.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Daniel. This is an episode of Live Laugh Lariat. I think it's 77 to be exact. We are joined by the galaxy's only hero. Is that true, Sean Legacy?
Galaxy's only hero, man. I love that little intro, dude. You had me hyped.
Yeah,
You got me hyped. That was sick. I appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. How are you doing tonight?
Good, man. How about you?
Doing great, man. Before we hop in, where can everybody find you on socials? Where can people buy your merchandise? What all do you want the good people to know?
Oh man, just hit me up. Just DM me about my merchandise and stuff, man. Instagram, Sean SEAN_legacy1.
Yeah.
Twitter's the same thing, but it's mainly Instagram. I mainly use Instagram.
Awesome. So you've got a One Piece flag behind you.
That's right.
I know the only thing I know about One Piece is that it used to be on WB Kids in the morning,
Yeah.
and that there are 1 million episodes.
Oh, dude, listen, it probably is. It's probably gonna hit 1 million. It really is. It's at like I think it's 1091, and it's not ending anytime soon. It is not ending anytime soon. It's insane.
For those who are unaware of One Piece, what is your like elevator pitch to get them to commit to that many episodes of a TV show?
Dude, you just listen. If somebody that does not like watching anime asks what's One Piece, I'll describe it to them. But like, you have to love anime for at least for me to try to have you watch One Piece, man. If you don't like anime, I'm not even gonna like. It's not even worth the time
Yeah.
to talk about One Piece. But if somebody does like anime and I want to tell them to watch it, is do the character development and just the story of where it all goes, dude. It's phenomenal. It's great. It really is. It has so many moments. I love moments, just like wrestling. I love those moments, man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them in One Piece that get you hooked.
Yeah. One thing I've learned with doing this is I think wrestling is the closest thing we get to like real life superheroes and like real life, like, because wrestling allows you to tell stories that you can't tell in like traditional, like real life things, which I think is really great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. 100%. 100%. It the best part is that it's live too. You know what I mean? That's what's best.
And then you've got an All Might picture there in the back as well.
Yeah, bro, that's my favorite anime character right there, man. I actually got my little vesty vest right here on the side. Yeah, it's like a little All Might make. But that is my favorite anime character. I love My Hero. I love My Hero Academia. But just like quite a few other animes, man, there's some scenes in it where it's like, oh, stop crying. Stop crying. But All Might, I love his look. I love his powers, man. All Might's the man.
Have you always been into like anime?
No, actually, I'm not. I started getting into that, I actually started getting into that when COVID first hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when COVID first hit, I was like, had nothing else to do. So I was like, I'll take this anime a shot. And I watched My Hero's the first one, and then it was Full Metal Alchemist, and then it started to get to a bunch of others, Demon Slayer. But I was getting told to watch One Piece, And like I said, I was, it was during COVID, so I had the time. But man, when I saw how many episodes there were, I was like, I'm not doing this. And
Intimidating.
then, yeah, and then I started watching a lot of the animes. Like, all right, I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Are you a
And
sub or dub guy?
sub, I can't do dub. I can't do it, man. Dub is too childish for me.
I
Dub
can
is
see
just too
that.
childish. Yeah.
I
Sub has more emotion to it too, you know?
I've dabbled in anime. I've watched I think it's leaving my brain right now. Samurai some oh god no, that's Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop.
Hmm.
Cowboy
Yes, Cowboy
Bebop.
Bebop. Yep.
I've seen Death Note. I'm afraid though if I get into anime, like I already love wrestling. Like there's only
Yeah.
a rabbit hole that I don't know I'm prepared to go down.
Yeah. Nah, if you're already a fan of wrestling, you love wrestling, man. You just have to you just have to start with the right anime.
Yeah.
You have to start with that one that hooks you in because there's a lot of them out there that if I told you to watch this, it's horrible. It'll be
Yeah.
horrible. You know what I mean? Like wrestling, I
Yeah.
need you
Yeah.
to watch I need you to watch this really one good wrestler. And I
Yeah.
swear you get hooked. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I don't want you to see like two green guys, go
Yeah.
at it and you're like, what is this?
What
This
would
is
you
wrestling.
say what would you say is the anime equivalent of like 2001 WCW?
Uh let's see. Man, if I had to go with, it would probably be. Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm thinking about like an anime story to go with
Yeah.
WCW than I am 2001 WCW. It's just so many.
Yeah. Um,
I'm gonna have to get back to you with that one.
yeah, that's fine. It's
What,
a tough one.
yeah, when we're talking in the middle of conversation, I'm going, oh, I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So this is a wrestling podcast. So I guess we should probably talk about wrestling at some point. And usually
yeah.
a good place to start that is the beginning. Has it been like a lifelong obsession for you, or how does that story start?
Yes, so it's yes and no. I watched it when I was a kid, of course. My dad was a huge fan of it, and every time my dad was watching, I was always watching it with him. Um, but when I was younger, I actually wanted to be a football player.
Mhm.
I love sports. I've always loved sports and always will. And I wanted to do football. Uh, but this stuff happened with, my coach and I, we just didn't see eye to eye and stuff like that. So I just stopped with football. And I was like, I want to try this wrestling
Yeah,
thing. So I went to Columbia. I did a training with a lady named Susan Green, and I took my first bump. And man, that first bump, and just honestly, before the first bump, walking in that ring, and
yeah,
like when you walk in the ring for the first time, and you start to imagine like a crowd around you,
yeah.
and then you start pretending that they're starting to do the chants
Mhm.
of legs, and you're like, oh wow, holy cow! Like I remember sitting in there already getting goosebumps. We're in this like barn house,
Mhm.
training. And then when I took that first bump, I hit my head because I didn't know
Yeah,
I took the head and I hit my head, and I was like, oh man, yeah, this is I don't know, but I kept going, and man,
yeah.
that was it right there.
Um,
That was it. It's crazy. It's crazy how that happened. I always think about if like me and my coach, if like I don't know where I would have been, if me and my coach were on the same page when it came
um,
to that team.
what about wrestling like drew you in as a kid? Like kind of latched onto you with
It was probably you said which wrestler or what wrestling?
just what about wrestling? Like what really drew you in?
Oh, dude, 100% the fans. The first thing that pops in my head is the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. Like I loved watching that Raw because I knew that WWE was, of course, like predetermined or
Yeah,
stuff like that. You know what I mean? But that Monday night after Raw, the crowd was the realest thing there was. And it's just crazy how electric they were after it. And like, I don't know, man. They were wild, and you see something so real happening like that got me hooked. I was like, man, I want to try to get that reaction. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like this isn't fake. This isn't fake,
yeah,
pal. This is real.
yeah,
This is real right here. This is awesome. Definite, but it's definitely the crowd. I, I love how they get into wrestling. There's nothing like a fire crowd.
yeah. Do you have like an all-time greatest pop like in popular wrestling?
Dude, honestly, it was probably last week. Probably last week. It was a show here in Augusta
Hmm.
that was like 15 minutes, and it's a second show. It's called PWE. And it was me, Marcus, Drew Adler, and Cody Fluffman. And it was the main event, and there was a four-way elimination. And man, I remember I do this spot where I kick the guy's leg out, do
Uh-huh.
the stomp on the back, they feed up, and I drop kick them, and then I nip up. Dude, I nipped up and I just stood there. And man, that place went crazy. And it was so crazy that it kind of took me off guard. So that's one
Yeah,
of the reasons why I'm standing there, because I'm like, what am I doing? But I'm
yeah,
like, I'm loving it. I am loving it. But like that was probably one of the loudest, man. That crowd was insane. It was a loud crowd.
yeah. So you go from the first time you step in the building, imagining the crowd, and then you have like this moment where they're kind of full circle for you.
Where it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're with Susan Green. You take your first bump. Um, Not a huge fan. You decide to come back. What is the thing that's keeping you going when you're first training?
What's keep me going is there's several things. The first one that pops in my head is when you work so many like little jobs, like like you do like dishes and Panera Bread, or maybe you work at a CVS
Yeah,
or something like that. You always have that one guy or girl that says that, like, I was gonna do this, but
mm,
this happened. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or man, I was a five-star athlete, then I blew my knee out, and then all this. And as much as I hate saying it, it's excuses,
yeah,
you know? I've told so many people that I want to do this. I don't want to be that person
yeah,
that in 15 years I'm at a CVS and some guy wants to be a wrestler,
yeah.
and I go, "Oh, I want to be a wrestler." Hey, I was in Japan for 3 months, but I
Yeah,
decided to work at CVS,
yeah,
Like, no, that's definitely one of them, man. It's just and then in high school, I was picked on a little bit for liking wrestling and for
yeah.
choosing that over football.
Uh-huh.
So, to show those guys what's up. I've actually had a few message me when I was in Japan saying, "Hey man, I knew you could do it." I was like,
Did
"Come on, bro.
you-
Come on, dude."
Yeah, um,
All right, yeah, sure, I bet. But that's two out of many. I could go on about that.
yeah.
There's a lot that keeps me going, man.
So you mentioned washing dishes at Panera. Is that a real experience that you've had?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's how that wasn't just random. Yep.
Yeah.
That was
Uh,
that was my first job. I think that was my first job, was I was doing dishes at Panera Bread.
would
And
you
what? Go ahead.
would you eat at Panera Bread after working there?
No.
Okay.
No, no, no. I didn't. The only thing I ate for Panera Bread was their blueberry muffins if they were available, because at night they throw all their bread away and they
Yeah.
just start from fresh. So whatever left over, you guys can have or whatever. And if there are blueberry muffins left over, I'm taking that at least.
Yeah.
But I didn't eat any of the food.
Okay. Yeah, I've worked in food, and I've also talked to people that work in a restaurant, and they're like, "No, I would never eat there. Why would you ever eat there?" After like seeing what actually goes on behind the scenes. So
Oh, 100%. Just everybody I know says the same thing.
yeah. So maybe stay away from Panera Bread. Um,
Yeah.
so when you started as a wrestler, I'm guessing your character now is very based on like the anime and what you've recently discovered in that hero complex. What was it like when you first started wrestling? Who did you want to be when you first started training?
Oh, oh man. I was stuck between so many. I couldn't figure it out. And I was so focused on like who do I want to be instead of just being me.
Yeah.
Like that's the most important thing. But dude, when I say I was going back between like maybe I could do a Cena character or CM Punk, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't because I love CM Punk too, man.
Yeah.
Especially back in his big run in WWE when he won the title, you know? Like I love that Punk. I love that Punk a lot. And uh there's so many characters. Cena, CM Punk. I mean, just about all the guys that were on the roster. Because I still didn't understand wrestling.
Yeah.
So like instead of me trying to work on myself, I'm still trying to think about, oh, what's the closest character I can be
Yeah.
without ripping them off. You know what I mean? Maybe I could do Cena. Maybe I could do different colored gear instead
Yeah.
of t-shirts.
Mhm.
Maybe I could do CM Punk and maybe I could just tape my wrists up, but just don't do the X, just small dumb
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, just small dumb stuff like that. But man, it was. I'm trying to think of another one. Maybe Edge. I
Yeah.
think at some point it was like the moment when Edge is doing his spear and he does the hair thing.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
keeps it. I was like that moment. I like that, and I was like, man, maybe I grow my hair out when I do my finish.
Yeah.
I do that. Or I mean, Randy Orton. I mean, who's never done the on
Yeah.
down the ring? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
But
I think it's safe to say that what really drew you into wrestling was the characters and the larger than life aspect of it.
And it's small things too, man. Small things. Edge is so good with his eyes.
Hmm.
So good, man. He's great. I love the spear. I love it. But man, he gets me with his face, with his facial expression. I love it. And Randy Orton's the same way, man. Especially when he's about to do that DDT, and then when he does it, everybody knows what's about to happen next.
Yeah. Were you aware of the independence at all when you first started, or was it just
Mm-mm. Nope, I was not. I was not. I didn't have like I didn't know anybody that really did indie wrestling. I
yeah,
really didn't. I didn't know like a friend of mine who's my tag partner, Cody Fluffman from the Buff and Fluff Connection. He's from here as well. We went to high school together. He wanted to be a wrestler. He trained a lot later than me. But I remember he messaged me at one point. He told me about Flatline Wrestling.
mhm,
It's at Patriots Park. That was about 15 minutes down from here. And first time I went to it, and I was like, "What?" First, I was like, "Flatline
yeah,
wrestling? Is it like WWE? Like, what, what,
yeah,
what,
yeah,
what kind of wrestling is this?" It was, "Oh, it's like an indie promotion
mhm,
kind of thing." I'm like, "What's an indie? What do we got talking about?" So I went and I went to go check everybody out. And of course, the first thing I do when I get there is when the wrestlers come out, I will stand up and I'll be like, I'm bigger than them. I don't know. I think I could do this.
yeah,
I'm bigger than him. It's like what? This guy does wrestling? I don't know. I think I could do it. The first one that caught my eye, man, who I thought was really good, and he was my first favorite indie wrestler was Anthony Henry.
oh
He
yeah,
was there. Yep, he was there he was main event. Main event. I forgot who he faced, but he was the first one. When I saw him, I was like, oh wow, okay. Just his look, I was like,
yeah,
okay, this guy looks like a wrestler, and then he
yeah,
kicks ass in the ring. So it's like,
of
oh
course.
wow.
So Flatline
So
is that Chris Wiggins' promotion?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
So was the Miami Bad Boy?
That's I was about to say that's probably who the main event was. Miami Bad Boy,
Yeah,
Chris Wiggins' character.
he was actually our first episode ever, like interview.
Really?
Yeah. And when we heard about the Miami Bad Boy, we had to I don't think he expected to talk as long about it as we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially seeing him now, oh yeah, I was the Miami Bad Boy. Okay,
Yeah.
let's rewind a little bit.
So
Um,
wow, what's it? Miami Bad Boy? What? Yeah.
but yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and Anthony Henry, from what I've heard and the stories I've heard told, not somebody you want to take a kick from.
Yeah. No, dude, it's stiff.
Yeah.
He'll get you. He'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
you good, man. I think I've been in the ring with him 3 times. Yeah, I think it's 3 times. Yep. And I'm 3-0 against him.
There
But
we go. You kind of decide yourself up against him, and now you not only were you like, I could do this, but now you're 3-0.
that's man, it still blows my mind. You watch these people, PWX, when that was the thing.
Yeah.
when I first like got finished done training, when I got the thumbs up, which I was not done training.
Yeah.
I was not done whatsoever. Went with Mikey, the Ugly Ducklings,
Yeah.
and I rode with them to PWX, and I got to watch. It was I don't think it was the main, but it was Jeff Hardy and Sammy Callahan.
Mhm.
They wrestled each other, and I remember watching all these guys, and like Rob Killjoy was one of them I was watching. I was riding the car with,
Yeah.
and then now in March at a North Carolina show, I'm wrestling him.
Mhm.
And it's like, man, this is crazy.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anybody that loves wrestling more than Rob Killjoy?
I didn't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Actually, maybe. Actually, I Anthony Green.
Okay.
Anthony Green is up there.
Yeah.
That man knows his stuff. Like he knows like he knows like man, like let's go to Japan, like Masawa. He'd
Yeah.
be like, oh, in high school, Masawa used to, it's like, no, I did not. How did you know this? You know what I mean? Like Anthony Green's up there. Him and Rob in a room talking about wrestling be interesting.
Oh yeah. Just put a camera on and just charge people.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, awesome. So you mentioned you finished training, you weren't quite ready. How long were you in training before you got the go ahead to travel and take booking?
Dude, I was probably training for like 6 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 6, 7 weeks. And I think when I learned the international, that's when it was like, hey, you got it. They're good. And I'm like, huh? You sure? Sure about that? I mean, I guess I'm ready. And then you have your first match, and the guy goes, hey, what do you want to do? And you go with the I'll do whatever you want to do. And
Yeah.
you do not want to do that with any young wrestlers out
Mhm.
there. Please have a move set, okay? You do not want to do that, man. It just makes it so much harder on the other guy because he doesn't know what you're good at.
Yeah.
So do not say I'll do whatever you want to do. Don't say that. Have a move set, okay? If it's bad, they can at least structure it to where it makes sense. But have a move set, please.
Yeah. That definitely some useful information for people out there.
Yeah, because that was me. So don't worry, I
Yeah.
did that.
What was the first match like for you? Was it a good match, bad match?
No, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was a lot of headlock takeover, shoulder tackles. My kick pads, the tags,
Uh-huh.
both of them were out. So you just see tags in the back just
Mhm.
flaring around, and I was like, oh, it was horrible. Like it was like lock up, headlock takedown, head scissors, nip up, another headlock takedown, head scissors, nip up, headlock, shoot off, tackle, go for pin, 1, 2, arm drag, drop kick. Just that was it.
Yeah.
That was probably it. But like it wasn't. What makes it worse is it wasn't smooth. It looked horrible.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think that's huge in pro wrestling is to make your moves smooth because like when I say all that stuff, it's like, well, I mean, that could probably work out. It can, but like if you're making it look all sloppy, man,
Yeah.
that's what it's bad. I like to say the word theatrical. You got to be theatrical with your moves because, man, like being theatrical with your moves just makes you and the other guy better, especially if you're like taking a punch or something like that.
Yeah. Because
And that's what I try to focus on the most is being theatrical with my things.
yeah.
I point out when I watch back my matches, and if I do something to where um if I'm throwing a punch,
Mhm.
something like that, and like if when I'm throwing a punch and it's kind of looking like this, I'm like, oh man, bring it back and
Yeah. Yeah.
put some umph in it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but or even taking punches, when I get punched and I don't move, and it's like,
Yeah.
bro, dude, go with it.
Yeah.
But being theatrical is really important.
Speaking of theatrics, what was the song that you came out for your first match?
It was Last Resort by
Papa
Papa
Roach?
Roach. Yeah. Last Resort by Papa Roach, man. I'm telling you, dude, I was not ready whatsoever.
Yeah.
I was not ready. I got retrained by Ethan Case
Uh-huh.
up at Palmetto. And Ethan Case is really good with preaching the small things
Mhm.
that in wrestling, the theatrical. He's really good about psychology
Yeah.
about that stuff. So I'm glad I got to train that because I did learn a lot from him.
At what point do you realize that you need to kind of take a step back and kind of basically start over with your training?
Well, probably when I went to Ethan at first, what the first training,
Yeah.
like I joined Ethan with a training session, and it was probably that moment. It's like, oh my God, I got a lot more to learn,
Yeah.
Like, oh goodness.
At,
Yeah.
at what point would you say you first like kind of felt comfortable, like you belonged in the ring?
I remember we were doing this thing at Ethan's, and it was just lock up, and it was just lock up and fighting a lock up, and we just kept switching the lock up, switching the lock up, and it got to a point to where Ethan would eat usually in class. Ethan would go, all right, switch, do this, do this, do this, do that, do that. Got to the point to where when I was doing it, I was telling the guy I was doing the lockup with, all right, let's do this, that,
Yeah.
that. And I remember when that was done, Ethan looked at me and he said, you're starting to get this.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, really? Okay, all right. And then that's a moment I won't forget either, is Ethan look at me and saying that. So
Yeah. Um, at this point, are you wrestling matches or are you just focusing solely on training?
oh, I'm wrestling, I'm doing both.
Okay.
I'm wrestling matches and I do training. I got a training, I do have a ring, my friend's ring, James Hunter, who's the owner of PWE.
Uh-huh.
He lives like 10 minutes and the ring's in his backyard. So whenever I want to train, we'll set the ring up, which
Yeah.
basically just put the boards up and all that and the pads. And Henry will come down and he'll train with us and show us stuff. So
Nice. What was
yeah, but
the?
I'm
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, you're
No,
fine.
go ahead.
What is the first match that you remember where you were like, you felt like you had like the crowd in the palm of your hands, and you're like, okay, I'm starting to get the hang of this.
Mm, what is the first match? Hmm, man, you have had so many.
Sorry to throw like a.
No, don't apologize. You know, the match I had against Eli Drake at the time was now LA Knight.
Yeah.
I had a match with him at Viral Pro Wrestling, and he was late, but I mean it's not his fault, planes and stuff like that. So traveling. Um, so I was told he was going to be late, and they actually had to move our match back. Uh, so I'm like calling all this in my
Yeah.
head. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this, and this, and this, and this. And then when he gets here, when he got there, he goes, so what do you have? And I was like, all right, so I got this. And he switched very few little things,
Yeah.
but he liked it.
Mhm.
And then we went out there and uh the crowd got in it. They cheered me, they booed him.
Mm.
And it also helps when you're working with a great worker, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's
Yeah.
really great. So, but after the match, he came up to me and he said, uh, just want to say really great job calling all that. It was fantastic and I had a great time. And I was like, wow, appreciate it. Thank you. I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Now look at him now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
What's it like seeing that moment where like this is a guy that like not only you had a match with, but like thought positively of you is now like a mega star, like ascend like
It,
the next what is the yeah, like it's kind of penetrated culture.
it feels surreal, man. It really does. It really does. It's like when I went to Japan, it still doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
You know, it's wild. It's crazy, man. I still think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that really happened, you know?
You ever like
Sometimes, to be honest, sometimes I'll forget. I'll be like, I had a match with Eli Drake. I was like, what? I forgot. What?
nice little surprise. Uh,
Yeah.
So what is your character like at this point? Where like I guess what point in your career would you say that you were with that match?
Where I was with the Eli Drake match.
Yeah, or just like between there and like kind of finishing up with Ethan Case in your training or kind of
I was definitely I was definitely less vocal. I was just wrestler, you know what I mean? Just boring wrestler. Uh but now I have I have learned to have more fun
Mhm.
with this stuff, and instead of calling wrestling moves, you know what I mean? Have fun with it when you call this stuff.
Yeah.
Hit them when you hit a move, hit a pose, do something, talk to the crowd. You don't have to be quiet when wrestling. You don't have to like whenever you got a hold. That's not the only time you can make sound.
Yeah, yeah.
You could talk to them if you want. And the biggest thing I learned is to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Really have fun with wrestling, and that's what I've been doing. And it's been working out, man. It has been working out.
Do you have like a couple or like at least one moment that sticks out in your mind of like a crowd interaction moment? Like, because I've been to a fair amount of wrestling shows, and there's always these like kind of organic things that like come out of like there's no way it could have been planned, but it turns out into like this really cool moment. Have you ever had anything like that?
Last week, again, the one that pops in my head, PWE. Um, we wrestled outside in the crowd. The guy had box of pizza at the
Uh,
table. Drew hits me. I sail to the table. I see the box of pizza. I open the pizza and I take a slice and I bite into it and I chop Drew and I bite into it. Chop Drew and I bite into it. And then I go to Cody. I go, Cody, I have pizza. He goes, let me see that pizza. And he grabbed it. He slapped the other guy with the pizza, and it went everywhere. And like as I'm like giving him the pizza, you just see the crowd like kind of go, shove that pizza up his ass. What I mean? But that's not planned,
Oh,
stuff like that isn't planned. I didn't plan. I just saw a box of pizza and I was like, I'm gonna take this. And like, they're like, oh yeah, take a pizza,
yeah,
take it. I sell over there and go, oh, let's see what I can do with this pizza. I'll probably just eat it. I was like, hopefully there's pizza in there. Hopefully it's not just like beer cans or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
But that's definitely one.
I think that goes like that's the only wrestling is the only thing that can happen. And like,
100%. 100%. Because they think it's part of the show, which is hilarious.
yeah,
So it's the guy's pizza, and he's like, "Oh, that was part of the show. Wow, that's crazy."
yeah, you probably like, and that's how you make lifelong fans too.
Yeah.
That guy's never gonna like not.
Oh, dude, he actually had me sign the box, the pizza box. He
Yeah,
had me sign it. He said, "Dude, can you sign this?" He's like, "Where's your friend? The guy that hit the guy with the pizza. I need him to sign it too." So, so yeah, I'm trying, man. I know there's others, man. I know there's others. It's like so much.
yeah,
It's one of those things where we get off, and I'm gonna go to bed and go, "Oh, that
yeah,
time, that time."
yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've ever signed?
Maybe first thing that pops in my head is a Croc, like the shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoes. Somebody took their shoe off the Croc and said, "Hey, can you sign this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll sign that." I signed a frying pan. Uh, Croc frying pan. What else? A piece of wood, from a table. I guess that's not weird. I think the Croc might be the weirdest one
Yeah.
because it was one of those where uh the kid was like, "Hey, how much are 8x10s?" And you tell him the price, and they go,
Oh.
"Oh, uh, can you sign? Oh, can you sign this? Can you sign?" And I'm like, "Your Croc?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Where? Where do you want me to sign it?" He goes, "Oh, just like sign it right here where the circles are." And I was like, "All right." So I just squiggle.
Yeah,
Here you go.
yeah. Definitely, definitely probably made that kid's night. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully you didn't have to touch the crock.
I tried my best not to. I said, "Put it on the table. I'll sign it."
Um, so you've had some pretty cool opportunities. You've wrestled some cool people like Eli Drake, Speedball, Mike Bailey recently at
hmm
Title Belt
Right.
Pro.
hmm
And then you've also had your excursion with Noah to Japan. Let's talk about Japan. Like, how did that come to place, and how did that process go for you?
So Ethan actually messaged me this flyer because my dream was always one of my dreams
Yeah.
was to wrestle in Japan. Well, Ethan sends me a picture of this flyer that says Noah tryout in San Jose, California. So I go, oh, well, that's really cool. I'm gonna do it. So it was like $250 for the tryout.
Yeah.
And then I had to pay for the plane, pay for the hotel. I no, I think me and Chip split the rental car because we got there like 2 days. We got there like no, we got there a day early because we actually wanted to look around San Jose.
Mhm.
Uh, but I paid for that. Me and Chip went on the same plane. But we get to the tryout and get to the tryout. Um, Gabe comes up to us and goes, "All right, choose a partner, choose whoever. You guys are going to have a 5 minute match in front of Nakajima, Mayor Fuji, and Gabe Sapolsky's going to be here as well.
Yeah.
And they're timing you. Once it's past 5 minutes, we're stopping you.
Mhm.
So we were like, all right, cool. So he left. I looked at Chip. Chip looked at me. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do this. And Chip Day is probably a huge reason why I got picked because not only did he want me to go over,
Mhm.
but he made me look great.
Yeah.
And he didn't need to do that. I made him look great, but he had me use more of my stuff, put more of my stuff, my high flying stuff
Yeah.
in there. He did not need to do that, but he did that. So we're calling this match. And when we're calling this match, dude, there was so many people here. And they were probably Mayor Fuji, Nakajima, Gabe Polsky probably had to watch like 24, 25 matches,
Wow.
5 minute matches.
Yeah.
So, but Chip and I have ours and we go on second. We go on second. We have our match. When we have our match, we both walk out. This guy opens the door and he goes, "Hey, Legacy, how old are you?" And I go, "Oh, 27." The guy turns back around and he goes, "Hey, he's 27." And he shuts the door. When he shut the door, man, I remember people came up to me and goes, "Hey, man, congrats. You just got picked." And I was like, "No, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this. There's so many other matches. Don't do this." Man, I was shaking. I was like, "Don't do this. Don't do this." But all these other matches, what's crazy about this is while these matches are going on, dude, people were showing up late going, "Hey, is this the seminar to Noah? Is this the
Yeah.
little tryout seminar?" We're like, "Yeah, bro. Goodness, just spent this much money to be an hour late." Like,
That's
oh
crazy.
my
Yeah.
God. So more people were showing up. So everyone's having their matches. Vinny comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, quit sweating, man. You got picked." I'm like, "No, man, let's just shut up.
Yeah.
Let's just everybody just stop talking. All right." So we're outside in the cold, just waiting.
Mhm.
And Gabe calls everybody in. He gives a speech about, just because you didn't get picked doesn't mean that you don't need to stop, keep trying. And then he goes for the first winner. Dude, I was looking down the whole time, man. I was like, oh, oh, oh. And he was like, all right, so go ahead. Let's go ahead and call it the first winner. And dude, when he said the first winner, when I say first winner, Sean Legacy, like that space,
Yeah.
it felt like it took him like 8, 10 minutes to say my name. Like,
Yeah.
just time slow down. And he said Sean Legacy. Oh, dude, I bawled. I cried. I just couldn't believe it, man.
Mhm.
I still can't believe it. And
Yeah.
here I am wearing the All Together Again t-shirt that I was in,
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It was such a good. The first person I hugged was Chip. And I told him thank you. And I told him thank you very much. Um, a little side story of what else I said to Chip, and this was before the tryout. Before the tryout, me and Chip walked on this beach at night.
Mhm.
All right. We were walking on this beach, and on the beach, there was a dead crow. All right. It
Yeah.
was just the head, but all that was the head and all the bones. I
Mhm.
told Chip, I go, dude, look at this dead crow. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So start walking back, and Chip was looking up. He was looking up what like seeing a dead crow means. He goes, so looking up this dead crow, and he's like, like it means that like what you want in life is coming up the next day. And
That's
we're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, cool. Dude, when I got called, I hugged Chip and I said, dead motherfucking crow.
crazy.
Dude, I hugged him, bro. I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely insane. And then I'm crying. And Gabe's like, all right, Sean, come do a promo. And I'm like, oh, shit. All right, man, hold on. Golly. I cut my promo right there. And Nakajima and Marufuji said, congrats. And I'll never forget Marufuji walking away, stopping, turning around and said, I'll see you in Japan. I'll never forget that. That was my greatest moment in wrestling right there, was getting
Yeah,
picked for that. It
that's awesome.
was, yeah, man, it was phenomenal.
Can I make a suggestion that you have a dead motherfucking crow shirt?
Yeah,
I would,
what a dude.
yeah,
Me and Chip talked about it, man.
yeah,
Me and Chip talked about it. But yeah, dude, I saw that crow at the beach, and like, I listen. If you don't believe in it, that's fine.
yeah,
It's just one of those things where it's like, it's crazy how I see
yeah,
that. Chip says he's reading online, and it goes, oh, means what you want in life is going to happen like soon or the next
yeah,
day, and then that happens tomorrow,
yeah.
man. Oh,
How many
that
other
was.
how many other people were picked out of that?
There was another guy that got picked, but uh, they didn't use him. They never used him, man. It was two people.
Yeah.
Uh, there was a luchador, but I guess Noah already has too many luchadors,
Mhm.
so they didn't use him, man.
How did it
So
how does it feel out of so you had 25 matches, that's 50 people.
and I got picked,
Yeah,
and you know one of the guys that was in there, man. He just got signed to AEW. Brian Keith.
that's crazy.
Brian Keith was in there, man.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I give so much credit to Chip is I don't know who Brian Keith was working.
Yeah.
Brian Keith could have worked a really green guy that made Brian Keith stuff look bad. And Chip Day is literally one of the best wrestlers, man. And he made my stuff look good. He made everything look good. So I like I said, man, I just Brian Keith got signed to AEW. He has a
Yeah.
great character. Why wasn't it him? There were so many others too. Um, so I who knows, man, but I got picked. I'm
Yeah.
very grateful. It's a moment I will never forget. And I'm can't wait to go back, you know.
Yeah. How long was it between getting picked before you actually go over to Japan?
I So it was in November, December, January, February. So mid-February is when it was like, okay, you're gonna come this month and
Mhm.
we need you to get this. So that was the longest 3 months of my life
Yeah.
of finally getting a date. And then I left to go there in April.
What was the like Japanese wrestling is very different as far as like you've got like tours and it's not like what we go to expect. What was the adjustment like and how do they prepare you for kind of their method?
Dude, it was fantastic. It was easy. What you do, man, what it was is you basically just wrestle on the weekends. You get on a bus, they take you to these places, you wrestle on the weekends, and bro, you got the weekday to explore and do whatever you want.
Nice.
The only time is if somebody comes up to you and they go, Sean, training at the dojo at 10 a.m. Join if you want. No, you go. There's no like, I'll see my schedule. No, they will never tell you you must be here. They'll say if you come if you want,
Yeah.
but that's a go. That's a
Yeah.
yes. But you could go to the dojo was open like 24/7. You get a key. You can go there whenever
Mhm.
you want. But like group training, yeah. And it was fun, man. I love working out and putting my body through pain when it
Yeah.
comes to working out. So I enjoyed what we had to do. I really did. I was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is like something you see off a movie, you know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
We
So
we had Caleb Conley on, and he went over, I think it was 0-1, but
yeah.
he said, like, going over there, like, the workouts that they put you through are like nothing else. Is that the same for Noah?
Yeah, man. They can get pretty brutal. Um, the group training, especially when it gets to like doing the push-ups and the squats. I mean, you're probably you pair off with three and you're doing 400, 500
Mhm.
push-ups incline. You grab a chair and
Mhm.
you're going doing the incline and you're getting 30. Your other partner gets 30. Your other partner gets 30. You get 30. Dude, it's nonstop, man. It's nonstop. After that, you're doing your abs, and after that, you're doing your air squats. I mean, don't get me wrong, it sucked, but
Yeah.
like I'm a little crazy, so I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. So I was the loudmouth there. Everybody's counting. I'm like, let's go, you know, let's do this shit.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
How is the actual wrestling training different?
Man, I guess it's different because it's not American, and I'm not saying because it's in Japan,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they have a lot of people from the UK that actually come help with the wrestling stuff. So you got Timothy Thatcher,
Yeah.
Chris Ridgway, um, uh, I mean Anthony Green also helps with the wrestling. I know he's American, but still, it's more of UK people that come down there and help with the wrestling. There's actually Hideki Suzuki. He has a little training area with a mat, and
Mm.
I would come train with him, and he is probably the best technical wrestler I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how smooth
Mhm.
he just does all this stuff, man. It's crazy. It's insane. But I enjoy training with him as well. I tried to, dude, whatever opportunity I got, man. I think Hideki was doing this training every Tuesday,
Yeah.
maybe sometimes Wednesday. I was there, man. I was there. I did a little jujitsu training with Sakuraba. Uh, got destroyed by Sakuraba.
Yeah.
He's a legend when it comes to jujitsu, man. And now the jujitsu training, that was probably the hardest training I did now since yeah, because I mean, you're 5 minutes of pure wrestling,
Mhm.
alarm goes off, you switch to another partner, and it's 5 more minutes. And I can't tell you how many times, maybe the second, third round, it was wrestling and then just laying there. You know what I mean? Like laying there in a hold. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, let's just breathe. Dude, I was drenched. It was so bad that I could legit wring my shirt like a rag.
Crazy.
Like that was they had this little those little like mops, and dude, they put it by me. They put it next to me because I would sit
Yeah.
down, and when it was my turn, I would have to get up and I would wash it off, and then I would go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Crazy.
was yeah, that was probably the hardest. I was sore. I was
Yeah.
extremely sore.
Yeah. Um, what was the weirdest adjustment you had to make to living over there? Or was
Man,
there one?
maybe the sleep. Maybe sleeping because I was sleeping in a dorm, and you don't really have your that much space. You're you're in a dorm, and you're probably what 5, 8 guys, or maybe it's just you and another guy. It just
Yeah.
depends. So it's probably sleep because a lot of those guys stay up, and I don't stay up. I go to bed early and I get up early. But when I was there, nah, it switched because everybody was staying up to like 11, 12, maybe 1 or 2
Yeah.
and sleeping into like 11 a.m. So that was the only hardest thing. Everything else, man, it was fine. I was worried about my meals, about eating my meals, but man, that the place they had is already freshly made chicken breasts.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many looks I have gotten when they have a whole rack of chicken breasts, and I go, all right, let's okay, all. And I just put all of them,
Yeah.
and I come up to them, and they just go, eh? You okay? Yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah.
eat a lot. You go, oh, what? No, oki, which means like big in Japanese.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, yeah, I got a little something going. But yeah. So yeah, it's just a sleep. Sleep was probably the hardest.
And what was it like working in front of the Japanese crowds? I imagine they're probably pretty packed. Also,
Oh, they're packed. It's phenomenal, man. Because it's phenomenal because like 99.9% they're all watching.
yeah.
None of them's on their phone. They love that stuff, dude. When they buy a ticket, all of them that buys a ticket, they buy it because they love watching this. It's not I'm gonna buy 6 tickets for my friends. You know what I mean? Like trust me, dude. Trust me. This wrestling show's good. Trust me. And they're not even in the wrestling,
Mhm.
dude. Dude. They buy that ticket because they love that stuff. So they're all watching. And man, when you do a little spot, and then we do a little spot, and you get that little moment, and they all do the clapping and stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's awesome. Cork and Hall. That was the best place I wrestled in. Cork and Hall. That place is always sold out, and that is a fire crowd.
It's
That
kind of
is a
like
fire crowd.
a legendary building as far as Japanese wrestling goes. What was it like the first time you like stepped through the doors and you're like,
It was amazing. The first time I wrestled in Corkin, it was a tag team. It was me and Dante versus Hayata and Marufuji.
"Mhm,
And Dante and Hayata did a thing. Hayata tagged in Marufuji. Marufuji came in. They started cheering. I put my hand out. The crowd knew because I kind of called Marufuji out on Twitter,
yeah.
not in a heelish way, but I was like, I can't wait. This is what I've been waiting for.
Mhm,
And Dante tagged me in. Dude, that whole crowd started chanting legacy.
yeah.
And that's the moment where I went back to Colombia when I first got to the ring of the crowd.
Mhm,
That moment right there, man. I got my hands on my hips. I'm just like, I shake my head because I'm like, this can't be real right now.
yeah.
This is my first time wrestling in Cork and Hall. And like they're like this.
Yeah.
And then it went to Mayor Fuji for a little bit. Mayor Fuji puts his hand up and he goes, and then it starts going back to legacy. And then Mayor Fuji goes, huh? And so it's going to and like, dude, I didn't want to wrestle. I just
Yeah.
I just wanted to sit back and relax. I'm like, this is crazy. And then
Yeah.
Mayor Fuji did our own little thing, man. And that was that was cool. That was really cool.
So I saw that you did like a video kind of introducing yourself. Safe to say, like when you showed up, like people knew who you were. Is that correct?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. hmm
So that's gotta be pretty cool. And then to hear like how many people can Cork and Hall fit, you know?
Yeah, that's just that place is so sick. It's so
Yeah.
tiny.
Mhm.
Cork and Hall's a really tiny place, man, but it's the best.
Yeah.
It really is.
What were your
So
favorite matches that you got to wrestle while you were there?
my favorite. Maybe when I did my one-on-one against Stallion. Noah does a lot. Noah's really big on a bunch of tag matches. There's rarely one-on-one unless if it's on like a giant show.
Yeah.
Um, but I did a one-on-one in Shinjuku with Stallion. And that was sold out, so they were live as well.
Mhm.
So and I don't know if it's for all Japan shows, but Noah, if they sell out, they're gonna be live.
Mhm.
It's gonna, especially if it's the smaller ones, and they were sold out, so they were live, and that was cool. That was a fun match. that was probably my favorite one I've had there.
Yeah.
That one and maybe my debut one. It was an 8-man tag. Um, it was an 8-man tag, and when I go in, I thought I was gonna get pinned and lose because of my debut, but
Mhm.
I got to give the pin and show I got to do all my stuff.
Yeah.
So I got to give the pin, and that was like a cool moment
Of course.
when I pinned into Mora, and I just was on my knees for a second, going,
Mhm.
"Oh, what is going on?"
Um, so Japan is kind of like this badge of honor for wrestlers. Like, oh, that's
Hmm.
John Legacy. He's been to Japan. How has your career been since you've been back? Like, what has changed?
Oh, man, my bookings, my bookings, they definitely gone up a lot. That and my name.
Mhm.
A lot more people know Sean Legacy is, people up north now. I love the promotions I work down south. I really
Yeah,
do. And I'm not trying to hate on any promotions down south, but I'm just so sick and tired of working them.
yeah,
But it's not because of I don't like them or anything. It's just because I'm tired. And this is nothing. I love everybody in the back, but I'm tired of seeing the same faces as well.
yeah.
I'm tired of doing that. That's why I've been preaching and sharing to go up north a lot, and I actually have quite a few bookings. I'll actually be debuting in Canada soon,
That's awesome.
so I'm excited for that. I got a lot more bookings up north. Going back to the UK,
Yeah.
April 4th through the 15th, and I'm bringing Cody with me, which is going to be phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I'm trying to go up north as much as I can. I really am. And I'm messaging everybody. I'm at the point now where it's like, just give me the opportunity.
Mm,
I'm not asking for a big pay. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just let me show what I got. I promise. Uh, but when I send this stuff to them, I send it to when I send it to him, I send him my resume, which has Noah on it.
Yeah.
So when I get responses back, it's usually about Japan. They go, "Oh, you did the thing with Noah," and it's like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did. I did. How much Noah stuff do you want me to send you?" Which it sucks because I really can't send that much Noah stuff to them because they're on the app Wrestle Universe.
Mm,
And so, and like the promoters, I doubt any of those promoters have
no.
Wrestle Universe. And it's like, oh, well, go type in this and you can watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Um,
That's gonna be a hard sell.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so you are now a world traveled wrestler. You have plans to go up north. Who are some names in 2024 that you want to cross off your list in the ring?
That I haven't wrestled before. Like,
Yeah,
would it be the first time?
more
Um,
people you want to get back in the ring with.
I mean, man, the first two is Hammerstone, and I would love to face Anthony Green again. Hammerstone and Green again would be great. Trying to think who are some. Who's another one? Mm-mm-mm. Trying to think of like indie wrestler
Yeah,
wise, not like AEW
you can
or
dream big. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, Dream Big. I mean, hey, Will Ospreay would be great. You
oh yeah,
know, Will Ospreay's matches are always great, man. He's really good. Uh, yeah, man. That's I guess Kenny Omega will be another one if
yeah,
he's still going.
of course. Um,
Yeah.
so a question as far as like end game for you, like let's say 20 years, what do you want people to look back and say about Sean Legacy and his career?
Um, a man that never gave up, a man that hustled, that was worldwide,
Mhm.
someone that who born from the South and was sick and tired of taking South bookings, and he sacrificed a lot to try to get more bookings up north to travel around the world. go to the UK, debut in Canada.
Mm.
I'm working on Germany. You know,
Yeah,
it's I just want to be a hard worker, you know what I mean? And
of course.
that's that's what I'm gonna try to do. And that's what I would love for that in 20 years. Honestly, 20 years, I would love to be signed.
Mhm. Of
You
course.
know,
Yeah.
but hopefully I would love by the end of this year to be signed.
Yeah, I'd love that too.
Yeah.
um, so we kind of like to wrap things up with one serious question, then we have two kind of goofier questions.
Let's
Who
do
are
it.
some talent that you think that more people need to know about?
First one, Chip Day. Second one, Cody Fluffman. Chip Day, like I said, is a phenomenal worker, and Chip Day has been doing a lot of the same shows
Yeah.
recently, and I hate that he's been doing the same shows because he is so great. He really is. He's extremely great, and Chip Day's not getting any younger.
Mm.
Cody Fluffman. We went to I'll say, I don't know if we went to elementary. We went to middle school. We went to high school together. We grew up together. In high school, we were like, hey, if we do wrestling, let's call ourselves the Buff and Fluff Connection. Boom. Now we're doing matches as the Buff and Fluff Connection.
Yeah.
Now we're actually living that. Cody Fluffman is great, charismatic, super great, charismatic, extremely entertaining, man. But he is also a great worker, and people need to know more about that. Because I think a lot of people just see a big man and they see a promo picture and they go, oh, great comedy guy. Let's use him. That's cool. But I'm telling you, he could work. He could work really well. He knows when it's like go time,
Mhm.
you know. So those are the first two that pop in my head right now.
Awesome. For the less serious questions, you mentioned your meal in uh, Japan as far as a lot of chicken. What is your go-to cheap meal?
Oh, dude, go to cheat meal? Man, probably Five Guys. Probably Five Guys, man. That's a Five Guys or Mexican food. Well, let's go with Mexican food, man. There's a place called La Mexicanas here,
Uh-huh.
and have you ever had a quesadilla?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, those will change your world, man. Quesadillas are mm, mucho bueno. Very good.
I'll have to check.
Very good.
I'll have to check that out. Add it to the
Yeah.
list. This has been great. I've had a lot of fun. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. We need to have you back on because we didn't even talk about UK, and I know you've got a lot of more stuff that you're going to be doing over the next year. So,
Oh, 100%. 100%.
love to have
Yes.
you back on. But thank you so much. Where can everybody find you again on all your social medias?
Instagram, it's all going to be the same. Sean SEAN underscore legacy one.
Yeah. Do you have a beef with people that spell it the other way?
I don't have a beef, but when they say, oh, you don't spell it like this, you go, no, and they go, oh, you spelling it the wrong way. That's when I have the beef. That's when I have the beef. That's when I was like, okay, cool. And they go, oh, that's scene. That's scene legacy. I go, no, it's Sean.
Yeah.
It's still Sean.
It's the most efficient way to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Sean underscore legacy one, all social media, DM him for awesome. Thank you so much, man. I hope you have a great night and best of luck. Hopefully the next time we're talking, you're on TV.
I appreciate it, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Have a good night.